I'm Bob Best of Best Newspapers Incorporated, publisher of the NewsProgress, a family-owned newspaper since 1961. We're located in Sullivan, a small town in central Illinois. Right in the middle of Amish country, we boast 4,400 citizens. My parents, Bob and Marion Best, bought this paper in 1961. We've been in business for 51 years now. At that time, when they bought the paper, they printed on a hand-operated, sheet-fed letterpress. Soon, they replaced it with a roll-fed, 8-page Goss Comet letterpress. We now run a 6-unit News King offset press. We print our paper as well as several other newspapers from surrounding communities. We had done away with our graphic arts camera nearly 10 years ago when we purchased our first image setter. Since then, we upgraded to the AGFA image setter we used until 3 months ago when we installed the Glunz Jensen NewsWriterXL. Using the image setter, we would run the individual PDF files through the rip one at a time and fill up the take-up cassette with as much film as would fit, usually 30 feet or 15 broadsheet pages. Then cut the film, put in an empty cassette, and finish imaging the job while the first half was running through the film processor. As the film came out, we would opaque the dust and the scratches off the film, and on the light table, strip the negs together and tape them to Mylar and get it ready for the plate burner. We would punch up all the plates and mark the color plates for register for the week in advance to save time. So we would grab one plate and throw it on the burner with our negs and burn the plate for 60 seconds. Then remove and scrap the negs and run the plate through the plate processor. The rising cost of film and the availability of film were the main reasons we decided to change to CTP. With the price of silver skyrocketing and the manufacturers getting fewer and fewer, it was getting time to change. I got online and started trying to learn about the options I had with thermal and violet systems. A neighboring newspaper installed a violet system for their shop, and I went and looked at it and learned how that operated. I was surprised at the amount of maintenance involved and the amount of chemistry they still had to purchase and what had to be done with the waste chemistry of that system. We chose the Glunz Jensen ICTP after talking with my local graphic salesman, John Dunn of the Oldham Group of Central Illinois. He had just started working with Glunz Jensen, and he told me of all the benefits of the ICTP systems they sell. I was hesitant at first because of the size of the newspaper press plates, but he told me of the product that Glunz Jensen was just starting to manufacture, the NewsWriterXL. This is a new ICTP meant I would be able to run my size plates through on a landscape orientation for greater registration and quicker speed. We were making plates on our own within hours after the Glunz Jensen technicians finished the install. It was almost too easy. Glunz Jensen ICTP is easier to use because of the fewer steps involved with the film process. There's no dealing with a film processor. There's no dealing with light tables and pin registration. There's no dealing with the chemicals involved in the process of developing the film and developing the plates. First step was the image setter, then a film processor, then a light table, then a plate burner, and then a plate processor. Now it's all done on one machine, the Glunz Jensen NewsWriterXL. We are saving about 30 minutes pre-press time on a typical 12-page section with process front and back. What used to take an hour and a half start to finish with film now takes 62 minutes with the NewsWriterXL. It's so much easier than dealing with keeping two processors up and keeping them clean. I can have anyone in the back shop run jobs and make plates now. I have two empty rooms now, the camera galley and the graphic arts darkroom. I also have now extra space in the press room. I don't know what we're going to do with all the extra space, but we always seem to need more room for something or other. We do save money because of the rising cost of film and chemicals. But not only will we save money, it's good to know that we are reducing our carbon footprint and becoming more green. My favorite thing about the Glunz Jensen ICTP is how it takes several variables out of the equation when dealing with getting a good register on the press. First, you don't have the film variable, the different bases and stretching or shrinking as it runs through the hot developer in the processor. You also don't have the variable of positioning the negatives together on the light table. For each broadsheet page of color, you would have 4 negatives, and when you're running 2 pages of color, it takes you up to 8 negatives. Then there's the plate burner variable, where you would be squeezing the mylar and the negatives and the plate together at 20 pounds of pressure. I would indeed recommend this system to my newspaper associates, and I already have. I have seen changes in this industry starting from my Saturday mornings in the back shop, melting down the previous week's letterpress type to make the lead ingots to go back in the line of types for this week's paper. I remember scanogravers and drawers full of type. I remember the first computers we purchased when we went offset. I remember the first graphic arts camera we installed and all the darkroom equipment associated with it. I remember when laser printers then came in and made PMT halftones obsolete and no more typesetting film for hand paste up. Then the image setter replaced the laser printer and camera combination. Each of these advances have been either a step up in quality or a labor reducing advance. With the Glunz Jensen ICTP, I see it as both. In the 15 weeks we've been using the Glunz Jensen NewsWriterXL, we have seen better registration on our News King press and an easier computer to plate workflow. The NewsWriterXL has streamlined our entire production process. With it, we look to continue our family-owned hometown newspaper for many years to come.